in an easy sitting position, or you can start kneeling. It's up to you. I know that we sit a lot, so having a variation might be nice. But making sure that your spine is nice and elongated, closing your eyes, settling to the ground. I heard today a saying that is, motion is the lotion for our joints. So the purpose of today's class is going to be motion, focusing on the motion of our joints, starting all the movements from our core, from the shoulders, the hips, and let the extremities follow. Maybe you can take some time to see how that phrase comes to you. They say that to keep balance, you must continue to move. So how does motion resonate with you? Meanwhile, inhaling for 3, 2, 1, and exhaling for 3, 2, 1. Inhaling for 3, 2, 1, and exhaling for 3, 2, 1. Inhaling for 3, 2, 1, and exhaling for 3, 2, 1. Continuing at your own pace, bringing the hands to heart center, and setting an intention for today's class. Taking a deep inhale, and on the exhale, sealing that intention in. Allowing the light to come back into your eyes. Interlacing your fingers. Inhaling, palms move forward. And then on the next inhale, extending the spine, looking up. Exhaling, tucking the chin towards the chest. Palms move forward. Inhale, arms towards the sky. Extended arms. Exhale, rounding the spine, tucking the chin towards the chest. Inhale, extend. Exhale, tucking the chin towards the chest. Inhaling, coming with a neutral spine, transitioning into our tabletop. Making sure the shoulders are above the wrist and the hips above the knee. Inhaling, allowing the movement to come from the shoulder, the right shoulder. Inhaling, rotating for 3 big circles. You can even move back and forward to allow room to happen, but start the movement as wide as you can from the shoulder. And then once you finish the 3 movements, doing it on the other side. Moving back and forward as needed. Beautiful. Inhaling, allowing that right hand to come now towards the front of the room as the same leg goes towards the back of the room. This is going to challenge your balance. So if you need to, you can pivot that left foot towards the side, allowing to help you with the balance. So you're pivoting by the side. You can stay here if you feel that you already have the balance and you want to go deeper. You can bend that right knee as you open the right hand and bind thumbs up with the back foot. Opening up the shoulders, the thumb is up and grabbing on the arch of the foot. If you're here, beautiful, keep your gaze on something that's not going to move. And then you can even extend a little bit deeper, starting to arch the back if that's available. Exhaling gently, releasing the foot, coming back to center, and exhale, right hand down, followed by the right knee. This time allowing, inhaling, extending the spine, and exhaling, rounding the spine. Inhale, extend, looking up. Exhale, rounding, tucking the chin towards your chest. Inhaling with a neutral spine with the left hand, starting with the shoulder, moving, rotating to one direction. You'll do this 3 times, mapping the movement with your breath. And when you finish 1, 3 of them going in the opposite direction. Feeling how one side might have been a little bit easier than the other side. And then when you finish, extending the left hand towards the front of the room as you extend the left leg towards the back of the room. Again, since this is challenging for the balance, you can pivot that standing foot by the side and it will allow it to be more comfortable or easier to balance. Staying here, or if you like, opening the shoulder, left hand comes with the thumb up as you bend the left knee, arching behind you, and you can extend the spine if you like to. Keep your eyes on something that's not going to move. Keep your core active. Inhaling, releasing, slowly coming back to center, into your tabletop. Allowing yourself to do 3 big circles, this time on the floor as you go back and then forward, side to side. We'll do in one direction. When you're ready, switch in the direction to the other side. Going to the limits that your body will go in each part. Inhaling, coming into tabletop, releasing the right foot back, followed by the left foot for a high plank. Shoulders still on top of the wrist, and then downward facing dog. If you need to, you can walk just 1 or 2 inches towards your hands. Inhaling, bending the right knee as you extend the left. Exhaling, bending the left knee as you extend the right. Continuing at your own pace, walking your dog as you bend and extend the other leg. With a neutral spine, downward facing dog, releasing the left leg nice and high. Inhale here, exhaling, placing the left foot between your hands. For a low lunge, the right knee will drop towards the mat and slowly releasing. Hands can come towards the thigh, coming into your low lunge. You can walk that front foot a little bit to get a little bit deeper stretch on that right quad. You might be okay here if you want to go a bit deeper, extending the spine, allowing the gaze to go towards the sky. Inhaling, exhaling, framing the front foot, tucking your back toe. Inhale here, exhaling, 3-legged down dog, extending the back leg, downward facing dog, both feet on the ground. Right leg elevates towards the sky on the inhale. Exhaling, bending the knee, right foot comes between your hands, nice and gently. Left knee comes down towards the mat, preparing for a low lunge. Hands on the thigh or hands towards the sky. Making sure your knees right above your heel. You can walk forward if you like, but always maintaining that knee on top of your heel. Inhaling here. If you like to go deeper, extending the spine. As you extend the spine, you may feel a deeper stretch on the left quad. Exhaling, framing the front foot, tucking your toes behind you, and slowly coming into a three-legged down dog. Right leg elevates, coming into your downward facing dog. From your downward facing dog, walking your feet towards the top of the mat, coming into your forward fold. Inhaling halfway up, exhaling forward fold. Hands can be on the mat or on a block. Bending the knees if your hands don't make it to the mat. So bending the knees, making sure your hands are on the mat, and then walking your hands towards the left side. Keeping your hips nice and square wherever they are. Inhaling, coming back to center. Exhale, walking your hands towards the right side. Inhaling, coming back to center, bending the knees, reverse one dive all the way towards the top of the mat. Extending the spine, looking up. Exhale, chair pose. In chair pose, core is active, knees are together, toes are together. Beautiful. Bringing your hands towards the mat, stepping or floating into your high plank. From a high plank, gently coming down towards the mat, releasing your toes so that the top of your feet are on the mat, and then cobra. Shoulders come down and elbows are nice and tight towards your torso. Inhaling, coming back towards the mat, tucking your toes, pushing the mat away, and coming back into your downward facing dog. Taking a time in downward facing dog. You can walk your feet if you like. And then from a neutral downward facing dog, releasing the left leg nice and high. Inhale here, exhaling, left foot between your hands. Inhaling, slowly coming up into your high lunge. From your high lunge, right hip, your hips are square, the right hip comes forward. You can stay here, making sure your knee is above your heel. Notice that the more that you extend that back leg, the more stretch you may feel. The lower you are, the deeper the stretch as well. If you like more, you can extend your spine, looking up. Even though both our feet are on the mat, this is still a balancing pose. Inhaling, coming back to center. Exhaling, framing the front foot. Pushing the mat away, coming into your three-legged down dog, and then downward facing dog. Maintaining a constant breath through these poses, releasing the right leg towards the sky. Inhale here, exhaling, right foot comes forward for a high lunge. Hands can come towards the thigh, and then slowly coming into your high lunge. Beautiful. Alignment, looking at your knee that is on top of your heel, left hip forward. And then you can extend your spine if you like. Inhaling, Coming back to center, framing the front foot. As you push the mat away, right leg comes into a three-legged down dog, followed by a downward facing dog. Walking towards your forward fold. Inhaling, coming halfway with a neutral spine. Exhaling, coming down into your forward fold. Again, bending your knees if your hands don't make it to the floor. You can use your spider fingers. Inhaling, exhaling, walking your hands towards the right side of the mat, keeping everything below your hips exactly as they were. Inhaling, coming back to center. Exhaling, walking your hands towards the right side. Inhaling, coming back to center, bending the knees. Reverse one dive all the way to the top, extending the spine. Exhaling, chair pose. Chair pose, shifting the weight to your heels. You can lift all your toes if you want to, and then placing them back. So most of the weight is on your heels. Placing the hands on the mat, releasing the right foot back, followed by your left foot, and then gently coming down towards the mat. Inhaling, cobra. Your feet are on top, pushing down on your feet on the mat. Exhaling, child's pose. Making sure your forehead makes it to the mat. So you may have to open your knees a little bit wider so that you are allowed to be supported on this child pose. Otherwise, you can always put a blanket or something underneath your forehead. Noticing sensations in your body, your heartbeat, your breath. And using your breath to slowly bring the body into a relaxing mode. Elongating the breath. You can stay here as long as you like, or continue with the movement, inhaling, transitioning into your tabletop. From your tabletop, hands are going to point, the fingers point towards your knees to have a wrist stretch. So you may already feel your hip, your wrist being stretched. If you can, starting to make big circles. Obviously, these are going to be a lot smaller than the previous circle. Making it 3 in one direction and then 3 in the other direction. Being very gentle with your wrist. Inhaling, allowing yourself to come back to center, sitting on your heels. Palms come together and allow yourself to rotate the palms. Inhaling, coming back to hands on the mat and coming into your downward facing dog. We have a little bit of a friend here. From your downward facing dog, inhaling, left leg elevates towards the sky. Exhaling, left foot between your hands. Preparing for a warrior two. So as your hip opens, your back heel will drop towards the mat. Right hand move forward and then coming into your warrior two. From your warrior two, making sure your knees right above your knees above your heel, and your hip is nice and open. Inhale here. Exhaling, extending the left leg. Right hip goes towards the back of the room without moving this lower part coming forward. Then the left hand will drop down as the right goes forward. You want to be nice and extended on that right side, keeping that right hip nice and open. If you're feeling any pinch on that knee, micro bend it. Inhaling, coming back to center. Moving the left toes to move forward, right toes towards the back of the room, coming into your warrior two towards the back of the room. Your gaze is past your fingers, you're nice and stable, shoulders over your hips. Inhaling, extending the left leg, extending the right leg. Left hip goes towards the front, towards the other side as your upper body goes towards your right foot. Right hand comes down and left towards the sky. You want to make yourself as thin as possible, like if your body was between two glass walls. Your gaze can be towards your foot or towards the sky if you want to challenge your balance. Micro bending the right feet, the right knee, inhaling, coming back to center. Slowly, the right toes point forward, interlacing the fingers behind you as you extend the spine. Exhaling, with the bind behind you coming down into your modified forward fold. Your palms are together and feeling as if you want to keep your hands, separate them, but because you're interlacing them, they're still together. That's going to create an action on your shoulders, trying to separate your hands. Releasing the hands and grabbing opposite elbows, allowing yourself to sway from side to side. Hands come towards the mat, bending the knees, and slowly coming up one vertebra at a time. Healing toes, preparing for our standing balances. We'll start with 3. Left foot forward, contracting your quad. Right toe on the mat, heel on that standing leg, calf, or hamstring. Making sure nothing touches the knee. We never want to put any pressure on a joint. We just want to move joints. Here, if you like, you can grow your tree. Continue with your breath, nice and smoothly. Inhaling, bringing your hands back to center, extending the front leg, and exhale, right foot back on the mat. Inhaling, switching legs, right quad nice and active, and whichever tree you decide to do in one side, doing it on this one. In this time, if you want to bloom your tree with a bloom mudra, you can extend your arms towards the sky. Inhaling, coming back to center, knee goes forward, extending the leg, and then back down. We're gonna transition into our dancer pose. So for dancer pose, left leg comes on the mat nice and strong. Right leg bends. Right hand with the thumb up opens on the shoulder and then grabbing on the inside of the arch on that right foot. So you're creating that bind, but the shoulder is nice and open. The left hand can come up if you like. So this might be enough, but if you like more, as you extend, the foot goes backwards a little bit more, starting to arch your spine, and then slowly hinging at the hips, lowering down for your dancer pose. This is not about how low you go, it's about finding that edge that is hard to keep your balance and staying with it, breathing through it. And then slowly and gently coming out of the pose the same way that you came into it, releasing that right foot forward. Left knee bends, left hand thumbs up, opening from the shoulder, grabbing on the inside of the arch, thumbs up. Knees are close together, right hand up. And then as you push the foot towards the back, you feel a little bit of an arch on your back as you start hinging down towards the mat. Finding that edge where you can keep your balance, but it's still a challenge for you. So you're concentrating on your breath, concentrating on a spot that is not moving on the floor. Inhaling nice and gently, releasing, extending that left leg and back to center. Beautiful. Coming back towards the mat into our child's pose. Inhaling, slowly transitioning into your downward facing dog. From your downward facing dog, you may want to grab a little bit of a blanket and have it close by. Inhaling, releasing the left leg towards the sky. Exhaling as you bend your left knee, placing the left knee inside your left thumb for a half pigeon pose. Right knee comes towards the mat and your toes on top. Walking those right toes behind to extend a little bit more. If you grab a blanket, you may want to place it underneath your left hip for support. Your hands by your side, inhaling, extending the spine, and on the exhale, leading with the chin, slowly coming down towards the mat. Creating a pillow for your forehead, using your wrist one stacked on top of another. You want that right hip to look down towards the mat. A lot of times this pose is easy to keep your hips open. Keep that right hip going down towards your left heel. You may notice too the stretch on your left hip as you bring your right hip down. Staying with the pose, bringing your attention where you feel the stretch. This is a love or hate pose, but stay with it. Bringing your attention to your breath. Slowly start to release from the pose as you use your hands to help you to come up nice and slowly. You may want to bring that heel a little bit closer as we go into our quad stretch. So bending the right knee, that right hand, thumbs up, nice and open for the shoulder, grabbing on the inside of your arch. This may be enough, you may feel a stretch, but if you want a little bit more, you can square that right shoulder to go forward. If you want a little bit more, you can start bringing that foot closer. The closer you bring your heel towards your body, the deeper the stretch on your right quad. Without kicking the floor, gently releasing, tucking your right toes on the mat, inhaling, three-legged down dog, followed by your downward facing dog. Releasing the right leg towards the sky, inhale, exhaling, bending the right knee, coming into a half pigeon. So slowly, right knee inside your right thumb, left knee on the mat, and untucking your back toes. Walking those left toes towards the back. Beautiful. Making sure that left hip goes forward. The blanket can be under your right hip. Inhaling, looking up. Exhaling, leaning with the chin, going forward down towards the mat. Making that pillow with your fist. Noticing how one side might be different from the other. Focusing your attention on your breath. Elongating each inhale and exhale. Inhaling slowly with your hands on the mat, pushing the mat away, coming up nice and slow. Bending that left knee, left hand forward, thumbs up, opening as you grab on the inside of your arch. And again, this might be enough. You may feel a deep stretch on that back quad, which is wonderful. If you need more, the left shoulder points forward. You need more, start bringing that foot closer to you. Without kicking the floor underneath you, tucking your toes behind, releasing the bind, tucking your toes behind you, and then coming into a three-legged down dog, followed by your downward facing dog. Bending the knees, and slowly transitioning into a sitting position. The legs will come forward, and you may want to move yourself a little bit forward on the mat so that when we lay down, we have a nice runway. Inhaling, hands towards the sky, nice and high. Exhaling, forward fold. Your hands can be on your chin. You can grab yourself on the legs as you pull yourself forward, as long as you're keeping a nice and neutral spine and not rounded. Inhale, arms towards the sky. Exhaling, bending the left knee. Holding, hugging that left knee as the left hand comes down towards the spine, and on the exhale, twisting, starting the movement from the lower part of your back, and then twisting, going up. The last thing that comes, that shift, is your gaze towards the back. Inhaling, releasing. You can go towards the other side just as a counter pose. Releasing the left leg, bending your right knee, hugging that right knee. Right hand comes down to make sure your spine is nice and elongated. And on the exhale, start to twist towards the back. Inhale, release, counter pose towards the left side. And then coming back to center, extending the legs, hands come towards the sky, and on the exhale, lowering down towards the mat, nice and gently. Bending the knees, preparing for bridge pose. Your feet are gonna be hips width apart. On the inhale, releasing your hips towards the sky, knees go forward. If you like, you can interlace your finger underneath you as you walk your shoulder one to another, allowing yourself to go a little bit higher on your bridge pose. Releasing your hands, starting to go down from the top of your back, and then knees towards your chest, rolling from side to side. Extending the legs, preparing for your final resting pose in Savasana. You can place a blanket underneath your head, and your hands are by your side. Imagining you're on top of a cloud, and the cloud is taking you wherever it wants to, following the wind nice and slowly. With a deep inhale, starting to move your fingers, releasing the hands towards the back, above your head, your toes towards the front for a good morning stretch. Exhaling, bending the knees, bringing your knees to your chest and rolling from side to side. And slowly finishing on your right side. In this fetus pose, signifying a new rebirth. Every time is a new start. And with a new start, new choices, new attitudes and perceptions come. Using your left hand to push the mat away, with your head being the last thing that comes up, slowly coming into an easy sitting position. With your hands at heart center. May you have happiness, joy, and laughter. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. Namaste. Have a wonderful rest of the day. Thank you. Thank you. Bye.